Good afternoon to everybody. We'll now start. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody to this pep talk this afternoon. Please mute yourself, but always show your video picture. Sign in your name, your Facebook account, or email address in the chat box. Please include the names of companions attending with you. This is more for attendance. Use the chat box to ask questions and make comments while the pep talk is on. There will be group pictures at the start and end of the pep talk, so please show your faces in the video. A reminder after the pep talk is to take the online learning cum evaluation test exercise or OLETE for mastery of learning and have a perfect score to get a certificate like the one shown. I have placed the link in the chat box. Another reminder, obtaining 25 OLETE certificates will entitle one mentee for a free voucher for a RO Hoson medical consultation, either face-to-face or telemedical. Another request, please type in your feedback in the chat box during the open forum and before we adjourn. Thank you. Let's now have a group picture taking before we start the pep talk proper in 2 minutes. Please turn on your video now. One, somebody's missing. Okay, complete. One, two, one, two, three. I have a patient empowerment program in which I like to empower the lay people or patients to take control in the management of their health. I started the pep talk on May 15, 2021 during the COVID-19 pandemic. There are 3 courses in the pep talk. I completed the core course on October 9, 2021, and from October 23, 2021 onwards, I've been tackling health disorder and health issue courses. May 18, 2024 marks the start of year 4 of the RO Hoson pep talk. And how long the pep talk will last will depend on our enthusiasm, discipline, and perseverance, both you and me. My pep talk today is entitled Patient Story, TLT, that means tell, learn, and teach, hormonal replacement therapy, and breast cancer. The empowerment objective is for the lay people to have an essential understanding on the relationship of hormonal replacement therapy with breast cancer as part of their health management based on a patient story or a story of a patient. The contents will be the following. So I'll be presenting a story of a patient along the topic of hormonal replacement therapy and breast cancer for the purpose of telling you, teaching you, and for learning. And the other topics that will be discussed will be the following. What are lobular breast cancers and why are they difficult to recognize? This because this is in relation to the case, to the patient. What is a hormonal replacement therapy? What is the relationship of hormonal replacement therapy with breast cancer? When to take and when not to take hormonal replacement therapy? And then some takeaways from the patient's story. Disclaimer, the R.O. Hoson Pep Talk contains R.O. Hoson's thoughts, perceptions, opinions, and recommendations, or what I call TPORs, culled from the experiences of myself and also from reading the writings of other health professionals. Let's start with the patient's story. So ESA was first seen by me in July 26, 2018. 2018, at age 49 years old, as a referral from a gynecologist. She presented to me with an unusual breast findings on the right side, which was indurated, matigas, practically occupying the whole breast, and then there was some degree of nipple retraction. Yung nakalubog yung nipple niya sa right side. So practically the whole breast matigas, and then there is some nipple retraction. So this was the records that I have in 2018. So July 26. So my initial entry on physical examination, I put there more or less about 7 centimeter, which I thought was a dominant mass kasi matigas na matigas, occupying the whole breast, practically the whole breast. And it was with ill-defined border, hindi malinaw yung boundary niya. Then solid siya, walang fluid, firm, hindi naman matigas, firm lang. And then gumagalaw pa naman, still movable, but with nipple retraction. Pero wala siyang lymph nodes on the armpit. Wala. Okay? So these are the essential findings. Meron isang malaking matigas, which I think was a buccal. No? Yung border niya was ill-defined, solid, firm, with nipple retraction, but still movable. My primary diagnosis, based on this one, yung mga findings ko, was a breast cancer based on physical findings ko, just based on the physical findings, yung examination ko. Nagsuspecha na ako na breast cancer. So, kung di siya breast cancer, of course, the other alternative diagnosis would be a benign condition. Pero mahirap mag-isip ng benign condition dito. Pwede, pero mas suspecha ko malignant siya because may matigas siya na parang bukol. No? So I had to consider a benign condition because she had the following history prior to consulting me. So ipagpunta niya sa akin, meron na siyang mga records ng galing sa dating treatment niya. Yeah, that's why I said, although based on the examination ko, walang suspecha ko breast cancer, pero meron siyang mga records that will show mukhang benign pa. No? So I'm not quite sure of the diagnosis. No? So ito yung mga records that would show that benign, pwedeng benign. So she consulted me 2018, but 2011, that was 7 years prior, and at age 41. So there was a biopsy done which revealed the following: complex fibroadenoma and fibroadenomatoid mastopathy, fibrocystic changes with sclerosing adenosis, usual ductal hyperplasia, and ductal microcalcifications. So pag merong itong mga statements nito, walang tinutukoy na breast cancer. So 2011, may biopsy na siya. No, it did not show cancer. So then after that, she had several repeated ultrasounds and mammography. 2016, meron siya. February 2018, before seeing me. Oh, yeah, okay, July 25 also. So a day before seeing me. So mga 3 ultrasound na nakita ko. Okay. So which all showed cyst on the right breast and with a BI-RADS 2 conclusion category, which means benign findings. So pag nakitang cyst sa ultrasound and sa ultrasound, benign siya. Usually benign siya ang connotation. No? So meron siyang conclusion na BI-RADS 2 which still benign. So 2011 biopsy benign. Several ultrasounds, 2016, 18, twice, February and July 25, 6 months, about 6 months apart, benign pa rin. So, because of the mga records now which were showing benign pero ang aking suspetsya ay malignant, no? So, pinaulit ko yung ultrasound. So I requested her to do another ultrasound, so which she did right away on July 28. So she saw me probably a day before and then pinaulit ko kagad. And the result showed a BI-RADS 4 with suspicion of the cancer. But yung suspicion niya is on the left side. Okay? So, pero wala namang bukol sa kaliwa. So pwedeng mali ito. I put on hold the ultrasound diagnosis. No? So walang nakitang malignancy sa repeat ultrasound dito sa July 28 doon sa right side. Instead, may nakitang suspicion na cancer doon sa left side. Pero wala naman ako nakakapangbukol, kaya I put it aside muna. No? Okay. So ang nakalagay dito, okay, walang significant findings on high precision. Okay, itong ultrasound ginawa sa high precision. Pero may BI-RADS 4 siya sa left side. No? So, with that, I was at a quandary kung ano talagang meron siya. No? Malignant ba siya o benign? No? Pero itsura ng bukol niya, talagang breast cancer. No? So we then discussed the options on what to do next. So the options were needle aspiration biopsy. No? Yung una niya, 2011, that's a core needle biopsy. But this time, we were considering a needle aspiration biopsy, MRI. Open biopsy means hihiwain at kukuha ng sample. Excision biopsy with frozen section biopsy. So these were the 4 options that we discussed. Then after discussion, she opted for MRI muna. Okay. So ito. So we discussed needle evaluation, MRI, open biopsy, excision biopsy. So ang pinili niya, MRI. So ito, pinirmahan niya. No? Okay. So MRI was done on August 1, 2018, which showed the following: diffuse presumed physiologic foci and simple cyst. Again, andyan naman yung word cyst, which connote benign, distributed throughout the heterogeneous parenchyma. So ang conclusion niya ng reader nito is BI-RADS 2, benign pa rin. So after the MRI, we discussed again, anong gagawin namin, no? Mukhang hindi pa rin akong iniisip, bakit ganon, no? That's not the usual presentation of a benign findings, no? So we discussed again 2 options. I-monitor na lang kasi may MRI na siya, meron na siyang maraming ultrasound, mammo, porous benign. So we discussed the options of monitoring na lang, and then the other option is to do a needle biopsy as get a sample. No? So not yet convinced that the right breast lesion was benign. I was not convinced because of the exact PE findings, physical exam findings. So I recommended a needle aspiration biopsy, which was done on September 5, 2018, after the MRI. But the result again showed cellular findings consistent with benign mastopathy. Benign pa rin ang lumabas doon sa biopsy. So with nothing on the repeated imaging and biopsy procedures to point to a breast cancer, I decided to give a diagnosis of fibrocystic changes with an advice on close monitoring na lang. So ito yung records ko that shows medyo malambot na ng konti. So I have to be contented with this diagnosis na kasi wala akong mga ebidensya that will really prove that it's cancer. So I suggested monitoring na lang and then check up after 3 months. So she consented to that with a signature here. In December 2018 and 2019, that was before the COVID pandemic, there was softening. Medyo lumambot ng konti yung matigas na sa breast niya on 2 occasions that I palpated the breast. So there was this, may mga check-up pa siya sa akin face-to-face before the COVID. No? So in July 2019, again, just before the COVID, no, a few months before the COVID, the ultrasound still reported right breast cysts with BI-RADS 2. Benign pa rin, may cyst lagi, no? Okay. So now with the subsidence of COVID-19 lockdown and the limitation of movement in May 2023, so 2020 yung lockdown natin, 2023. So bumalik na yung pasyente sa akin for a face-to-face checkup. So the physical findings were practically the same, still with induration. May matigas pa rin on the entire right breast, but softer than when I saw her in July 2018. Yan, parang naniniwala ako, baka hindi talaga cancer ito kasi lumambot. But yung nipple retraction was still there. So I think note to nipple retraction, softer yung right breast. And ultrasound at this time still showed right breast cyst, no solid mass with BI-RADS 2 categorization. Okay. So ito, okay. So sabi ko, talagang baka benign nito na hindi pangkariwan lang yung presentation. But in March 5, 2024, she came for a breast check again. So close monitoring na ito. So bumalik ulit siya sa akin sa March 5, 2024. But this time, habang sine-check up ko siya, I discovered that she had enlarged right axillary lymph nodes. Ito, no? May kulani na siya ngayon. Dati-dati wala, no? So it's about 2 to 2.5 centimeters. Medyo malaki, no? So na-alarm na ako. Okay. So I shifted my diagnosis to breast cancer after nung nakapa ko ito, no? So an ultrasound and mammography were done right away after this consult. On interviewing the patient, she told me her gynecologist gave her hormonal replacement therapy, which she started taking in May 2023. So in May 2023, nung nagpa-check up siya sa akin, wala pa yung mga lymph nodes ito. Mukhang benign pa rin. So she saw me on March 2024. There was an interval of 10 months when she took the hormonal replacement therapy, when I noticed this mga lymph nodes sa kilikili niya. So ito may notes ako dito. Hormonal replacement therapy started in May 2023, and I saw her at this time 2024, 10 months after she was taking hormonal replacement therapy. Okay. So ultrasound was done. As I said, nung nakita ko yung lymph nodes, pinagawa ko yung ultrasound. So March 6, ginawa. And then kinompare namin yung ultrasound ng May 6, 2023. That was the last before the March 6. So ito yung lumabas. Development of an irregularly shaped, spiculated, ibig sabihin yung border niya parang may maraming spikes. So solid breast mass, ang nakalagay lang dito, 2.6 by 3.1 and 1.9 centimeter. Pero yung kapako, mga 7 centimeter na no, sa kapako. Pero dito sa ultrasound, 2.6 lang nakalagay. No? Associated with a smaller but similar satellite mass, small mass. Okay. So merong dermal thickening, makapal yung balat. No? And then partial nipple retraction, as nakita natin during even 2018, andun yung nipple retraction. And then, nakita yung axillary lymphadenopathy, yung sa may lymph node sa kilikili. So, ang naging conclusion, diagnosis ng radiologist is naging BI-RADS 5. So, from BI-RADS 2 to 3, in the past, biglang naging BI-RADS 5, highly suggestive of malignancy because of nakita nila itong spiculated mass and then merong axillary lymph nodes. Yan ang basis nila. Pinagawa ko rin ng mammography, no? May nakitang speculations. Okay? Yun lang. So, ang conclusion din ng radiologist, highly suggestive of malignancy. So, with these findings on ultrasound and mammography that were highly suspicious of malignancy, and with my clinical assessment of breast cancer, right, sa right side, with axillary lymph node spread, I recommended a total mastectomy and axillary dissection as soon as possible, and this was done on April 2, 2024. Para mahabol. Kasi lumaki na no? Okay. So, histopath showed 6.5 invasive lobular breast carcinoma with 13 positive axillary lymph node metastases. So, after the operation ng histopath, medyo nag-jive yun sa size na measurement ko. 6.5 siya, yung measurement ko before the operation. Sa kapa, mga 7, more or less pareho. And then, may nakita yung tinanggal ko ng lymph nodes sa kilikili ay 13 positive. No? So, patient had undergone chemotherapy and radiation therapy after the operation. She is now at this writing, she is now on hormonal therapy and immunotherapy. So, end of the telling of the story. Let's now go to the learn and teach. So, this patient is challenging in terms of diagnosing the breast cancer. So, 2018 up to 2024, it took me about 6 years bago lumabas na yung talagang may evidence na breast cancer. Then it's also challenging in terms of deciding whether hormonal replacement therapy she took caused the breast cancer or caused its flare-up. So mahirap sagutin nito kung yung may kinalaman yung hormonal replacement therapy. No? Kasi nung kumuha siya ng hormonal replacement therapy in 10 months time, biglang lumabas yung mga kulani niya. No? So let's start the learning from the histopath diagnosis. So this histopath showed invasive lobular carcinoma. There are usually two categories, general categories of breast cancers. One, yung tinatawag na ductal carcinoma. The other one is lobular carcinoma. In ductal carcinoma, this is the type of breast cancer that originates from the milk ducts. Kaya tinawag yung ductal. No? Yung mga dinadaanan ng gatas. Okay? And then lobular carcinoma is the type of breast cancer that originates in the lobules. Yung lobules na yon, before yung milk pumunta dun sa duct, sa lobules ang nagpo-produce ng milk. Okay? So lobules muna, make milk production, and then going to the duct. So you can have breast cancer arising from the lobules, or you can have breast cancer arising from the ducts. Ductal carcinomas are more common than lobular carcinomas with a ratio of 80 to 20. They have different clinical presentations and more difficult to recognize lobular carcinomas than ductal carcinomas. As what happened in this patient. Nahirapan ako. No? So, mahirap i-diagnose yung lobular carcinomas, which is found in this patient. and then compared to ductal carcinomas. And in general, ductal carcinomas present as a more discrete, dominant masses, whereas lobular carcinomas, thickening lang, fullness, just like in this patient, with nipple flattening or indentation, as seen in this patient. The challenge with invasive lobular carcinomas is that they can be difficult to detect clinically and radiographically, like CT scan, ultrasound, mammo, and MRI, and consequently tend to be larger at the time of the diagnosis. Kasi mahirap i-diagnose na mas maaga, kaya habang naghihintay, lumalaki. So they're often poorly circumscribed, di siya malinaw ang border, and can be missed on fine needle aspiration and needle core biopsies due to low cellularity, konti lang yung mga cells niya, and the blunt nature of the tumor cells. They can be missed on ultrasound, mammography, and MRI, as seen in this patient. This was missed for 13 years, okay, from 2011 to 2024, until the metastatic armpit nodes appeared. Nakapakon noong 2024 March. So lessons that I personally learned in this case, when I see another patient with the same picture as in this patient, thickening and fullness of the breast, na walang medyo malabo kung may yung talagang dominant mass, walang discrete mass, with flattening of the nipple, no, and indentation. So from today onwards, I will not forget this patient, no, this experience. I will think of lobular breast cancer. I will be more aggressive in establishing the diagnosis, even if the imaging procedures are negative, palaging negative for the past 13 years. So options will be do an open section or even an excision biopsy kung maliit siya. No? As to the issue of the hormonal replacement therapy and breast cancer, let me just give you a backgrounder on what is a hormonal replacement therapy. Iba yung hormonal treatment therapy dun sa mga breast cancer. This is a so-called hormonal replacement therapy. Yung ginagamit to treat breast cancer, we call that hormonal therapy. Wala yung the word replacement. Hormonal replacement therapy, or usually it's being given to patients who are menopause, kaya tinatawag na postmenopausal hormone therapy, is the treatment that replaces the hormones no longer made by the ovaries as a woman enters menopause. Pag nag-menopause na isang babae, yung mga hormones ay konti na lang, okay? Produced by usually estrogen, progesterone, produced by the ovaries, konti na lang. So, ang gagawin because of some symptoms, may mga debilitating symptoms, nakakainis yung mga, let's say, hot flashes, whatever. No? So, i-replace nila yung hormones, yung naubos, naubos because of age, because of the menopause. So, that's why it's called hormone replacement therapy. So, the HRT replaces the missing hormones that decline in the years around the time of the menopause. Low levels of hormones can cause symptoms such as hot flashes, night sweats, anxiety, mood swings, brain fog, and vaginal dryness and discomfort. So ito yung common symptoms of people in menopause. Some are tolerable, some are intolerable. So in the early 1940s, hormone medications to alleviate menopausal symptoms were first used. 1940, nagsimula yung ginagamit itong mga hormonal replacement therapy. So by 1960, very popular ito. So practically all menopausal women were widely prescribed HRT. But in 2002, 2002, the treatment with HRT was abandoned when studies indicated that HRT increased the risk for these diseases like cardiovascular disease, stroke, pulmonary embolism, and breast cancer in women over 60 years old. So cardiovascular disease, stroke, pulmonary embolism, and breast cancer, mataas ang incidence nito with the intake of HRT. Kaya inabandon siya, but up to the present times, there are still discussion on the use and non-use of HRT in women. Some gynecologists still use HRT. Sabi nila, ay, low risk lang naman yan. We just have to be selective and use the single HRT. May dalawang klaseng HRT treatment. Yung isa, estrogen lang. Yung isa naman, combination of estrogen and progesterone. So, to play safer daw yung gagamit lang isang estrogen lang without using the combination hormonal therapy. So, but some gynecologists don't do anymore. Okay? Reasons, sabi nila, no matter what, there is a risk for breast cancer and other diseases. So there are the gynecologists who will give, there are some gynecologists who will not give anymore. These gynecologists prescribing and not on a selective basis use these 20th century studies. May mga studies that came out during the 20th century. So in women with a low underlying risk for breast cancer, the symptomatic benefits of HRT use for up to 5 years will exceed the potential harm. So mas maganda, mas maraming benefit kaysa harm daw. And then sabi nila na most women will not be diagnosed with the breast cancer as a result of their exposure to HRT. Sabi nila majority, baka tama, majority will not be exposed, okay, to will not develop breast cancer pag nag-HRT sila. But these are the two main reasons why some gynecologists still prescribe HRT to women who are in the menopause stage. So what is indisputable here in this particular patient is that we have witnessed the connection between the hormonal replacement therapy and breast cancer. And we saw that there was a flare-up of the breast cancer within 10 months of hormonal replacement therapy. So she started taking it in May 2023 and to March 2024 when I discovered that there was a lymph nodes now which are suggestive of a flare-up or a breast cancer. Supporting the connection between the HRT and breast cancer are the studies that are showing the increasing incidence of lobular carcinoma in patients with HRT. So mga studies that shows that kung nag-HRT ka, yung breast cancer, the type of breast cancer appearing is the lobular carcinomas. So in this particular patient, tumugma siya, lobular invasive carcinoma nga. And again, as shown in the story, mahirap i-diagnose. So my personal advice on the HRT. There is a risk for breast cancer for women using HRT as documented by the experience of other patients all over the world and in this particular patient of mine. Even just a small risk, as much as possible, avoid HRT. Wag na lang. Use the natural means to control the side effects of menopause. Maraming natural means yan. I'm not qualified to explain that. No, you have to consult a gynecologist for that. So, summary and takeaway, I have presented a story, a patient with the hormonal replacement therapy and a patient with the breast cancer, which I think there is an association. And then I also discuss what are lobular breast cancers, which is the diagnosis in this particular patient. And then why are they difficult to recognize? What is a hormonal replacement therapy? what is the relationship of hormonal replacement therapy with breast cancer, when to take and when not to take hormonal replacement therapy, and some takeaways from the patient's story. So takeaway in relation to patient empowerment, be always in touch with reliable medical information on the relationship of hormonal replacement therapy and breast cancer. Knowledge is power, it gives power. Use the four keys of patient empowerment: kaalaman, kakayanan, karapatan, and kapangyarihan to gain greater control over decisions and make better decisions on taking or not taking hormonal replacement therapy as part of your health management. With that, I end my pep talk today. I hope I have empowered you to have an essential understanding on the relationship of hormonal replacement therapy with breast cancer as part of your health management based on a patient's story. I hope we can learn something from this. So before we go to QA portion of the talk, reminder, please take the online Learning Cum Evaluation Test exercise or OLETE for Mastery of Learning and have a perfect score to get a certificate like this. I have placed the link in the chat box. Obtaining 25 OLETE certificates will entitle one mentee to a voucher for a RO host on medical consultation. And then feedback, please type in your feedback in the chat box during the open forum and before we adjourn. Let's now have a group picture taking before we start the QA and interactions. Please turn on now your video. Okay. One. Okay. Okay, Ellen, show your face, Ellen. Taas mo yung mukha mo sa camera. One, one, two, three. Okay. The floor is now open to questions, comments, sharing of experiences, consultations. How many have used HRT before? How many? Okay. Ellen, are you raising your hands?
No, Doc. Hindi po ako nag-SRT.
Ay, yung kamay mo kasi meron. Okay.
Ay,
Sige.
sorry po.
Hindi, okay lang. Yung mouse ko pala yun. Sorry. Okay. So, walang nag-HRT sa inyo. So, nobody. Francis, nag-HRT ka ba, Francis?
Hi, Doc. Good afternoon. Hindi po, Doc.
Okay. Susan?
Doc, yung bang, I'm a little confused, no? Is Tidin an HRT?
Which one?
Tidin. The one which I use for.
Tidin is thyroid hormones.
Yeah, so that is different from from the dito sa hormone for our ano.
Okay, ito yung when I say okay, I can understand why you're asking that question kasi when you say hormonal replacement therapy, wala siyang term that will that would imply kung saan, no? Kung ano, no?
That's right.
So, but when we in the literature, in the newspaper, in all the writings, when you say HRT, it commonly referred to yung mga sa babae, usually sa babae, postmenopause.
Okay.
Okay. Kung menopausal, may hot flashes, so ano, kulang yung mga Kasi we expect naman pag tumanda na, nag-menopause, naubos na yung mga estrogen ninyo, progesterone, no? So kaya marami kayong nararamdaman, no? Okay? So the HRT will just be to replace the estrogen and progesterone. Kaya tinawag na replacement. Okay?
Okay. So,
Okay.
tithing is not for ano.
Thyroid
So,
is for
what is
thyroid. Thyroid
thyroid
yun.
lang?
Hormonal
Okay.
replacement, usually estrogen or combination of estrogen and progesterone. Yan.
Okay. Mabuti na lang walang ginanon na binigay yung aking doktor.
Na gynae. Okay.
Oo, wala naman. Pag ano. Okay,
Okay.
thank you so much.
Good. So walang nag-experience ng HRT? Sana meron, wala. Para maka-discuss.
Kasi sabi mo may risk eh. Pag
Kaya nga,
ano.
pero I suppose may mga tao na who have experience taking it. That's why I want to hear from them.
Okay, oo.
Uh-uh. Okay. Lily, did you take HRT, Lily? Lily? Nag-HRT ka ba, Lily? Unmute. Hindi kita marinig. Unmute, Lily. Unmute. Nag-HRT ka ba? Lily is the youngest patient, the youngest person here in this in this Zoom. So that's why I'm asking, most likely she's menopause already, whether she took HRT before. Ayaw ano? Unmute? Hindi mo ma-unmute? Just give me a show of hands. Did you take it or not? Okay. Very good. Very good. So, wala. Okay. The rest are bata pa. Okay. So, how about any stories that you have heard before? Mga relatives, mga friends? Kaya ako present itong sa pep talk. This is my first documented which I'm convinced na it's related to the HRT. Nag-flare up no, yung cancer niya, no? Okay. Documented talaga ito. Buti na lang may mga records ako, no? Kompleto yung mga records ko, no? So do you agree that there was a flare up? Or may connection to sa HRT?
Yes, Doc. Hi, Doc Francis po.
Francis?
I think, Doc, meron nga kasi sobrang bilis nung change from the last time that you saw her tapos chinek nyo, parang okay lang naman, parang consistent with the previous findings. And then suddenly, after 10 months, ganun na yung naging development. Sobrang bilis. The fact that you were monitoring that for ilang years, pero wala namang significant na changes. Suddenly, biglang ganun. So, parang talagang yun yung main reason. Parang ganun, Doc. Kasi, and at the same time, Doc, gusto ko lang ding tanongin like yung sa hormonal replacement therapy. Kasi I have an auntie, although hindi ko naman siya regularly nakakausap. But she had parang hysterectomy. And then she was recommended to take that HRT. Although hindi ko naman na-monitor. So parang ganun ba? So the doctors are giving that sa mga ganong cases din, not just because merong menopause, ganon. Or dahil related to menopause, ganon, Doc. So pwede din yun.
Pwede rin. Yung mga after hysterectomy, okay, so forced na to be on the menopause kasi wala na yung uterus, wala na yung ovaries, no?
Opo.
So, there's a room for recommendations by the gynecologist not to take HRT, diba? Okay. So just be wary of that possible risk for breast cancer and other diseases, not only breast cancer, yung
Yeah.
cardiovascular, yung stroke, ano, no?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, so good thing, Doc. So pwede ko siyang i-alert or i-share
Yeah,
sa kanya to
yeah,
para ma-monitor
yeah,
din niya. Oo,
yeah.
thank you,
Yan
Doc.
ang personal recommendations ko. Wag na lang, natural means na lang, no?
Oo po. Okay. Thank you, Doc.
You're welcome. Okay. Any more?
I-add ko lang, like, pag HRT, di ba? Usually to treat menopausal symptoms. Although parang yung HRT ay parang bibigay ka ng additional estrogen, progesterone, um, na ayaw natin with women with history of breast mass or breast cancer. Pero yung one of the symptoms kasi pwedeng, as mentioned earlier, yung vaginal dryness. Alam ko pwede kasi yung estrogen kung cream lang. Pero yung pinaka-hormone replacement therapy like estrogen and progesterone, hindi advisable to take. Tapos yun, baka yung for this case, may dormant, baka may underlying or dormant lesion na parang pre-malignant to na yun, nag-flare up with the HRT na hindi lang na that before. Yun lang yung
Okay. So, basta ang pinaka-definite if you have a history of breast cancer, talagang absolutely wag na kayo kumuha ng HRT, no? Kung wala kayong history ng breast cancer, no, na let's say na hysterectomy kayo or natural menopause, no. So it's up to you kung whether you want to take it, you want to take the risk, no? Okay, so you talk to your gynecologist, no? Pero sa akin, as much as possible, if you can find other ways of controlling yung mga symptoms ninyo, okay, minsan, it's just a matter of adjusting it, no? Increase na lang yung tolerance ninyo. Kasi before the 1940s, before the advent of the hormonal therapy, yung mga ninuno natin, wala namang HRT yan di ba? Okay. Natitiis naman nila. Palagi ko, dapat kaya nating tiisin yun. Kung di natin kayang tiisin, ibig sabihin, weak na tayo, weak people tayo, yung mga matatanda ang matibay. Na walang HRT. No? Okay. Okay. Now, any more? Any more comments, sharing? Wala na. So I hope those with
May I
breast...
sorry, Doc, sorry ha,
Sige.
Susan,
Susan.
I just want to express my appreciation that you meticulously monitored your patient, yung patient din sa example mo. Because I don't think all doctors are like that.
Okay.
Because, after several years, you monitored all her developments. And then, of course, the start, it wasn't cancer. Then it became cancer and everything, no? She's lucky, At least she was able to, you were able to monitor all of these things. Yun lang, yun lang ang gusto kong sabihin ngayon. Why am I saying this? Because you're also monitoring me, right?
Yeah.
I had mastectomy 2023. Magto 2 years na ako ngayon, no? Fortunately, the last time I saw you, that was, was it last week, the other week? You said no clinical evidence of recurrence, which is also something na nakakawala ng anxiety. But again, you told me that I have to see you after 2 months, something like that. Sa akin, I appreciate that, no? Kasi we don't know yung workings ng cancer, eh. Like ako, for instance, I remember that before the findings, fibrocystic chains, no? And then all of a sudden, when I saw you after after the COVID, I saw you because masakit yung left breast ko plus nagdudugo na. Yun yung ano. I just want to express this and tell it to our co-participants.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for those for that feedback. No?
Mhm.
Okay. What will I say? I-ask my secretary muna. Nasaan ba si ano? Nasaan ba si nawala na? I didn't see ano. Si Beth. Nasaan si Beth? Ayan na si Beth. So ano yung observation na sa ang ginagawa ko? I follow up all the patients that yung mga pasyente ko as much as possible I follow them up to the end, no? Up to the end kung sinong maunang umalis sa mundo, no? Okay. Second, kung ayaw nila bumalik, wala akong magagawa, di ba? So, tama. Pero
Yeah.
kung as much as possible, I usually advise them to have a check-up, lalo na yung mga may breast cancer, no? Okay, may mga cancer not only breast but thyroid, gano'n. It's a lifetime samahan, no? Okay, I will monitor you because it can recur. It can, no? We hope it's not, it will not recur on your part, pero it can recur, no? Okay. So, ang sinabi nga ni Susan, I also know a lot of surgeons who are not, I'm surgeon, yung mga ibang surgeons, they don't do that, no? So, ipapasa na kayo sa medical onco, sa ibang doktor na, no? Okay.
Yeah.
Ako, I usually want to have, if I refer you to another specialist, medical onco, I always make sure that you come back to me as if you still want me, di ba? I'm willing to offer my service. Okay. Kaya meron tayong mga, that's why I had this cancer survival registry, which I usually use 10 years, may follow up at least 10 years, no? So naka 180 patients na ako with at least 10 years survivorship, no? Okay. So I don't know whether may mga doctors sa Pilipinas who have a record of what happened to their patients, no? At least ako may kahit na ko konti, 180, pwede na yun, no? 180 pwede na yun. Probably there are more patients than 180. Kaya lang yung iba hindi nagpapa-check up. Diba? Okay. Okay. So Beth, any comment? Tama ba?
Yes, correct. That is what you're doing to all our patients, whether it's cancer or not. But most especially to those cancer patients, we normally ask them to follow up. And then if we have referred them to another doctors, just like oncologists, you usually tell them to come back after their treatment to the oncologist.
Okay.
I second the motion to Miss Susan. Susan
Yeah.
din ako. My experience with you, Doc, hindi pa kita doctor. Not si Miss Susan or any other patient of 10 years. Not even 10 years. Kasi si Ate Rides, 25 years. You still monitor her.
Yeah.
So parang kahit may risk, parang ako ngayon, kahit may risk, having you around, parang no risk na ako.
Okay.
Well, when it comes to Dr. Hosen's patients, it's a family doctor and patients. It's just like a family relationship.
Yes.
The attachment is not napuputol yung pag naoperahan na at saka yung naano na or ibinigay na kayo sa mga oncologists. You really make it sure na after the treatment, you will be back to him and monitor everything. So yung mga hindi lang 25 years, we also have 38 years. And keeping these patients for 38 years, that is something we can be proud of because all patients, whether non-cancer or cancer, we consider it a family. That's why he founded the Cancer Crusaders Club. That is the first and foremost na ginawa niya. We started it before the EDSA revolution and until now ganun pa rin siya. We still have the Cancer Crusaders Club.
Okay. Yung Cancer Crusaders on 37th year na tayo last year. We're going on our 38th year this December. No? Okay. So, any more comments? Thank you, Susan. Thank you, both are Susan. Susan Argel and Susan Basig, now for your feedback. Okay. And also see Francis. Okay. Any more comments? Okay. Lily, are you going to say something? You know how to manipulate your phone, na? Unmute. Ayaw ma-unmute. Ayan.
Yes, doctor.
Yeah. Nawala.
Yan.
Yan.
Wow.
Oh, nawala. Ayan. Ay, unmute.
What
Ayan.
are you asking, doctor?
Yeah. Sige, kahit na walang picture na lang, we can hear you now.
Kasi when I put when I move the screen to my photo to my it unmutes.
Oh, sige, just give me your feedback. Ano ka ba? Hindi ka nag-HRT, no?
Hindi, doctor.
Okay, that's good. So, do you mind if you tell them how young are you now?
Sorry, I did not hear.
How young are you now?
I'm 83 years old, doctor.
Okay. 83 years old. Okay, so you had breast cancer. How many years na tayo breast cancer mo?
12 years, doctor.
12 years? Okay. So no evidence of recurrence, it not take HRT. No? Okay. So you were able to tolerate your postmenopausal symptoms?
Yes, doctor.
How? Just ano lang.
Yes, doctor.
Tiyaga-tiyaga na lang. No? Then libang-libang na lang. Keep yourself
Yes, doctor.
distracted. Okay. Okay. So I guess we can learn the lesson from the yung mga our grandmother, mga lolas, no? Walang HRT naman 'yon eh, no?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. Okay. So, thank you, Lily.
Yes. Welcome, doctor. Thank you too. I'm being discharged today, this
Okay.
afternoon.
Sige. We'll see each other next time. Okay.
Yes, doctor.
Okay.
Thank you, doctor.
Sige. Bye-bye. Okay.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Okay. So, last call for any sharing, HRT. Wala na? If none, basta ang advice ko, huwag na mag-HRT. Na? Okay. In general. Okay. Natural na lang. Natural. Everything natural. Na? Okay. Okay. So, if there are no more questions, we'll call it a day. No? So, we'll see each other again next week. No? Next Saturday. We will be off on Easter Saturday. Wala tayo. Pero next week, hindi pa naman Holy Week eh, di ba? Di ba? There's another week pa, no? Okay. Okay? So, we'll call it a day. We'll see each other next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Doc.
you,
Thank you po,
Doc.
Dr. Rex.
Bye.
Happy weekend.
Thank you so much, Doc.
Bye.
Okay.